Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Bright Side Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
There we go. All right.
You're conducting us tonight, Deej.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, boop, boop. All right. I'm back at it.
Oh, yeah.
Missed you, Steve. It's been a while.
Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, man, I was going to say, I'm so tired. Someone had me up till gone midnight last night.
Yeah, exactly. And back at it again.
Hey, man. Oh, hello. John's in. Hey, John. John Thompson.
John, how we doing, buddy?
Hey. He's 24 hours late for the Big Bang Theory chat.
Yeah, that's probably why. Maybe he heard it and he's like, all right, I like these guys again.
Yeah, I'm ripping it.
Oh,
man. Yeah. So I'm hopped up on Red Bull, guys. Okay. It's the only way I'm staying awake.
Well,
yeah, there we go. But it was fun. Very cool. Takeover Tuesday this week. Not to be missed.
No. What a guest. What a guest we had this week for those who haven't heard. Featuring Steve. I was surprised it was only your third Takeover Tuesday. But
yeah. Definitely is. Definitely. Yeah, that's the trilogy.
Yeah. There you go. Trilogy complete. There you go. John, how many have you done? You've done like a few because we did the Star Wars ones.
Any?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, not officially Takeover Tuesdays. Have you, John?
I don't think I've done one. No.
Not official.
Oh, really?
Ones,
you just did the show with me then.
Yeah, right? I mean, I've done like, the very special episodes, like the school specials, but I don't think I've ever been on a Takeover Tuesday because I've always been the co-host of the show.
Oh, guys, sorry. Hold on.
Kind of
I gotta
started.
take this. I'll tell you why after.
Oh, okay.
Hold on without me.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't think you'd done a Takeover Tuesday, John. Not an official one.
No.
But then, like you say, you've always been on the show. You're part of the DNA.
Right. That's right.
I'm the interloper, the usurper.
Well, not anymore.
young contender.
I used to view it that way, but not anymore.
Now it's part of the furniture. It's fine.
I guess.
Oh, man. Yeah, but no, it was fun. It was good fun last night, and I, as always with Deej, with those listening, I thought we'll sit down. It'll be half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops, because we didn't start till kind of 9:30 our time. I mean, everyone listening to it will think it was early today. But it was 9:30 my time last night, and we didn't finish till midnight.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man, it just flew by as it always does. And as we always say, and it just kind of raced by. But we barely talked home theater.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, man, it was everything kind of but that. But it was interesting. It was really good fun. And again, it always just disappears. 2.5 hours, a blink of an eye, it has gone. Yeah. But there we go. And we tried to steer clear of talking home theater experiences or anything that we might talk about tonight. So there's a couple of things, hopefully, that we'll get on to that we're trying not to spoil.
Nice.
So we will see. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Whilst we've got Deej otherwise indisposed, might as well say hi to everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hang on. I'm going to answer Captain AC3 real quick.
Go for it.
He's got a question for me down in the chat. Wants to know my favorite comic character. Green Lantern. Hal Jordan is my favorite comic book character.
Nice. Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes back to as a kid. I think some of the first comics I ever remember buying were Green Lantern, just because I thought he looked cool. And I've just always had a fondness for the character. And then, of course, the boring, everybody's favorites, Batman and Spider-Man, would probably round out my top three, but definitely Green Lantern. So.
Oh man, see now. Okay, now I've got Kevin Smith. I've never read a Green Lantern comic,
no.
So I've got Kevin Smith to thank for. Right, let me see. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those that worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Right, now do it as Bob Marley.
Oh no. Is that right? Did I get that right?
You did get it right. Yes, I'm impressed.
Hey, there you go. See, I've seen too much.
I have that on a magnet on the side of my refrigerator.
Oh, do you?
I do. Yeah.
And that's the Green Lantern oath, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and that's what Kevin Smith does to marry people.
He does.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Very cool. You see, my favorite is definitely Spider-Man. As boring as that sounds, 100% Spider-Man. Only because, again, that's what I grew up reading. Back to the Jack Kirby kind of when we used to go on long trips in New Zealand. Which comparatively not that long because you're only 60 miles away from the ocean pretty much anywhere
right,
you go.
We go an hour to the grocery store. So
yeah, exactly that. But when we did these trips, my parents used to buy me little kind of like little small comic books, but they were like a mixture of comic book and book. So you had all the illustrations, but it was in a book format.
Yeah.
And so they used to buy me those, and I just got hooked on it. And so in the back of the car, at all these trips when we were kids, would just be cardboard boxes full of comics. And so I would just read those and just consume as many of them as I could.
Right.
And then went off them when I came back to England when I was 9. So from New Zealand, I just stopped reading comics. That was it until my dad, as I said last week or week before, my dad just came back randomly one day with a comic and just said, "Yeah, Steve, look what I've just seen. Have that." And that was issue 1 of Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, yeah.
Yeah, and that just like blew my mind. It's like, oh my God, all the characters are in this. Everyone's in it.
Well, it's one of the first crossovers. I think that came before Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was DC's big first crossover. I don't remember which came first, but they were fairly back to back to each other. But those were like the first big crossover series for both. For both companies. And then just to follow up, Captain AC3 says Silver Surfer for me. Great choice. Love Silver Surfer. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. And then Steve Att saying it was the Flash for him. So we've got more DC love than Marvel in the chat tonight. Okay, fair enough.
Marvel for Jordan.
Yeah, our distinguished colleagues.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me say hi to everyone as well. So we're doing that. So hi, TSG. He was in first a little bit earlier this evening. Said he was worried the show wasn't happening. The link came out a little bit later. I know Dee just had a busy 24 hours. So apologies. It went out a little bit later than normal, guys. So anyway, hi, TSG. Mikey's in. Hi, Mikey. Captain's in. We know that. Jack Lee, again, if you want to deploy your crikey now, John.
He's on a plane right now, so he won't be able to enjoy.
And he won't take offense.
That's true.
So Jack Lee was in, and he's going to pick up again at the end, I think, when he lands. It's a 50-minute flight he's got. Rach is in. Hey, Rach. And Steve Att is in. And he's got Take Over Tuesday ready to listen to tomorrow doing his chores. So fair play to him. Well, hope you got 2.5 hours worth of them, Steve. And then we've got PF Productions is in. In fact, I need to speak to Deej about that because PF wants to do a Takeover Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool. Yeah, he said he makes documentaries and shares insight into getting them on Apple TV.
Oh,
so
wow.
That could be interesting to know. Yeah, so we'll need to, definitely need to remind Deej on that. So he's in. Jason Bell's in, first time here, so catching a live episode. So hi, Jason. Thanks for joining in. And then who else have we got? Dom's in, as always. Bonsoir, Dom. Gorinda's in. Hey, Gorinda. Good to have you along again, mate. And then Yanks North is back. We remember you this time, mate. We're not going to pretend that you're in for the first time now. Not a couple of weeks ago. John, we've already said hello to John Thompson. Edward Cole Breath's in. Hi, Edward. And then Jordan's in as well. So the whole gang, everybody's here, present and correct. So all good. We're just missing Deej, which is he's run out on us. He's left us to it.
He has, yeah.
So now we could just talk sport for the rest of the show. Sorry, guys, everyone tuning in. Oh, Skylake's just popped in as well. Hi, Skylake. Nice to see you, buddy. We're just waiting for one of our number who has been caught short. We don't actually know why he's gone.
No, just a call. Yeah.
Yeah. Just let us know. No. And I can't start talking about stuff because I can't put anything up on the screen.
No, same.
There we go. What have we got here? So Captain AC3 says, Steve, quick question. Do you think John and DJ would enjoy this very Scottish Gregory's Girl? Right now, Gregory's Girl. Captain, I'm aware of it. I think I've seen a little bit of it, but not enough to know whether anyone would, whether it would travel across the Atlantic. I'm not sure. Probably. I mean, it's a teen sort of drama from what I can.
I say do tell, because I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
so.
do you know what? I wouldn't be able to have any confidence
Gregory's
that I'm correctly.
girl,
Gregory's girl. Yeah. Jordan, I like it. Well done, Jordan. While the cat's away, the mice play. We can praise Evil Dead Rise as much as we want.
I'm back.
Oh no, he's back. He's back.
Oh, geez.
Everyone, as you were.
Perfect.
It's like you called him back into the room.
Exactly.
It's like Candyman. You just say Evil Dead Rise and he just appears.
Right. My ears are burning.
Say it 3 times and DJ appears.
No.
Ed Kilbraith says, as far as comic series, so The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight, presumably The Dark Knight Returns. And I presume that's what you mean by that. Would that be right, John, or am I getting that wrong?
No, the comic series. I think that would be
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight. No.
Was there a series, The Dark Knight?
Legends of the Dark Knight
Returns?
No, I think it was just Dark Knight.
Was it Dark Knight?
Have I got that wrong?
It was from the 80s, wasn't it? That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, this Dark Knight Returns. There's 3 of them all together. I just don't remember.
I mean, the Dark Knight Returns is the Frank Miller one, isn't it? With the thing, because I've got that on my iPad. I mean,
I'm gonna have to in my my comic book card here.
No, it's
the Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. It's the Dark Knight Returns.
Is it Frozen?
Okay.
What
was the one I was thinking of? Who's Frozen?
Hey guys, you all right?
Hello, everybody. Frozen? No, I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of all dropped out, and we're back.
Okay.
What are you downloading on the Kaleidoscape, Deej?
Nothing. Believe me, nothing. Well, as you know. Okay.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't know what that was. Yeah, well, quite no. Yeah, I thought you might be downloading stuff for in the future.
No. Yeah, sorry about that. That's what I was telling you. I just sat down. I was, sitting down late as it was. I even got to you guys late. So my last 24 hours, Steve and I stopped recording, and I go upstairs, and Franklin, which we opened the show with yesterday, talking about Franklin. Just briefly, we just mentioned his name, but it just was apropos because I listened back to the show today. Franklin had seizures last night, and he's had them since December of 23, which we went over everything. But very, very long story short, we ended up taking him to Tufts Medical, which is an emergency room for dogs, for animals around here. And they started off telling us, okay, we can do this, this, and this. And then they started hearing his history, and they started giving Jen and I, praise that it's okay if we put him down now, blah, blah, blah. And so we left there around 1 a.m, not knowing what was going to happen. There's a lot more to the story, but got the call this morning that he's doing okay. And that they're processing everything. They've got him on an IV, trying to, they've mitigated it all so that he can, recover. And tonight they're going to take him off it at midnight. You put it on him for 24 hours. And then if he is okay, which they think he will be, that's the call I just got. Well, supposedly we'll be able to take him home if he doesn't have another seizure overnight. If he does, then there's other plans and there's complications to all that too. But we were under the impression that we're okay, every month he has a couple of seizures, he does this, and they've been getting worse and worse. And last night was he had 6, almost 8 of them inside of 3 hours. And that's why we had to get them there, because that's when their organs will fail and stuff. So
yeah.
So that's where we were. So it was fun day. So
yeah, man. But the latest update then, Deej, is it doing okay?
Yeah, he's
bright side.
Yeah, hashtag bright side. I'll tell you, I was telling my daughter today, who's a nurse, and obviously I told Jen and stuff too, but the doctor that called me at 11 this morning, we didn't know what was going on at this point. And I get the call and I'm on my way to work and I'm in the car and I take the call just like I saw here. I'm like, boop. It's like, it's got to be them. So I answer it and I'm like, hello. And she's like, hello, this is Dr. Such and Such from Tufts Medical. I'm like, okay, yep. How you doing? Good. How you doing? Good. She's like, is this a good time? I'm like, yeah, I'm driving. I can listen. Hashtag bright side. I'm like, I got ears. I'm driving. And she goes, well, would you like me to call back at a better time? I'm like, am I going to drive off the road?
Just don't mess about. Just tell me.
I was like, no. And I'm like, and I said this to Meg, and Meg was like, what the? And I'm like, I go, and it was, if you heard the recording of it, it was, would you like me to call back at a better time? No, I can listen now. I'm not waiting. There was no gap in the middle. But in my head, oh my God, my dog's dead. My dog's dying. My dog. I mean, there's, you think 1,000,001 horrible thoughts. And she goes, oh, okay. Franklin's doing great. He's eating some snacks. He's awake. I was, gee. You go from 0 to 100. Is that your like, your MO here? It's like, hey, bring him in low and then hit him with the good stuff. What the hell was that?
Hit him with Venom: The Last Dance, and then
I was like, oh God, help me. I was like, and I'm like, now I'm gonna drive off the road because I'm mad at you.
Right.
No, but yeah, no, he's not out of the woods, but they think it's Jen had a hard time last night because she has been the one that's been tracking this and saying, and look, here it is. And it wasn't until we saw his history, like month after month after month, and it getting progressively worse. And then listening to the doctor tell us, oh, wow. Like when we first went in, the meds that he's on, he's like, poof, that's a healthy dose. That's a good amount of meds for a dog that size. But don't worry, there's things we can do. We can still up it from here. Like 40 minutes later, after more examination and more history and knowing his full history, he's literally saying, like, don't be ashamed if you want to put him down right now. I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. And there's money involved, of course, in all of this. And it's like, you can throw all the sorts of money at it and maybe fix them. But at the same time, it just, you can't. And it's, there's one option. Like you can get an MRI, but that's like 10 grand. Right. I'm like, I wouldn't do that for me. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, so and all that does is tell you if it's a brain tumor or something. And then if it is, then it's like tens of thousands of dollars to have it removed, which I'm not doing. Right. It's like, I mean, I love my dog and all, but let's be real. Right. So that's not even an option. But then the other stuff is like, it's a lot. And so we're navigating our way through all this, but yeah. So it's
everyone's supportive in the chat, man, but also as we expect. And then Captain saying, brother-in-law's dog had similar problems 2 years ago and is still with us. Medication worked. So there's some hope, man. That's what we want, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And it's it's like I'm seeing it, and it's believe me, we all have perspective, and it's if this hadn't happened, I'd probably be this is funny. Not funny. It's not funny. If this hadn't happened, I'd be giving my condolences to my friends who lost their sister over the week since our last show. So,
oh man,
dogs seem silly,
but it's not. But they're not that kind of animal. They're not a gerbil. They're not a fish.
But it is. It's
dogs are family members. There's no two ways about it. They're not. It's not an animal. It's not a pet.
No. But what I'm saying is, it's like it's also not a person. It's not my sister or my sister-in-law. Which is what happened over the week for Larissa and her husband, Norm. It's like Norm lost his sister, and it's, and they were, they're really close. And here I am with the dog. And I'm like, but it is what, and they understand. Believe me, they do. It's like they understand this too, because, she's, Larissa's the same way with the dog. She's crushed about the dog too. And it's like, but we're like, you just lost your sister-in-law, who she was really close with. So it's like, you keep perspective, and it's like, and that's, it's tough, and it's, but it is what it is. And it's like, hashtag bright side. It's like, he's doing okay now and everything. So
yeah, well, keep positive, man. We just hope it's,
so we got shows to do. It's like,
man.
But
yeah, all the love in the chat, man. Rachel's saying again, Rachel saying my dog was on Fentanyl, whatever that. Yes, and agreed it works, so it can be done. And yeah, as I say, and again, Rachel says as well, it's not silly, they're family, and they are. Dogs are different. They're not. And again, cat doesn't give a crap about you, and even though you can you think about it, they it's still tough, but a dog is a dog, man. They are who they are. They're members of the family. They are, it's a different thing. They're not like pigeons on an outdoor TV. These are, animals that we like.
That Steve took a bazooka to last night.
Because we were saying this, John, right? We were saying this about open cans of alcohol in a car in Texas, all right?
Okay.
Just to change the subject.
Stop breaking some laws.
So Dee's was saying he thinks in Texas you can't have an open container of alcohol, or we don't think you can, certainly not the driver anyway. And I was saying, you can have a rocket launcher in the back, buy one, get one free in Texas, no problem. But you can't have alcohol.
Right. Yeah. Right. You can have all kinds of guns strapped to your back window, but no open alcohol containers.
None at all?
I don't think you can have any at all. I don't think it's just the driver. I could be wrong. It's definitely
Mass is that way.
But I think it's in the car, period.
That's the way Mass is, 0 tolerance. But I know Connecticut passengers can, driver can't, right?
What I was thinking about that today as I was listening to the show, is ignorance any kind of defense, do you think?
No.
So if you go over the state line into New Hampshire, just because that's what a little bit I know about. So you go into New Hampshire and you've got your open container of alcohol, or vice versa, whichever the one you're not allowed to do is, and you do that and you get pulled by a police officer and you've got it. Can you just say, look, I'm really sorry, officer, I didn't know. I had no way. Because it's not like it's on a sign as you cross the state line, is it? It's not. There's a big sign going, just so you know, here are your new laws.
Right. No.
So can you say to an officer, look, I'm really sorry, I didn't know. It's all Greek to me, and I'm really sorry about that, officer. Please don't give me a ticket. Or is it just, look, 0 tolerance, you're an idiot, you should have known the law, and you're coming with me, sunshine.
Well, the cliche is ignorance of the law is no excuse, right?
Correct.
What they say
and
about anything. So I would imagine that's how enforceable everything is are different stories, because I think that depends. But
it also, a lot of
million laws on the books in every state that aren't enforced. That have been on the books for 200 years. And nobody enforces them. But I think ignorance of that is no excuse. But
no, it would be up to the officer on site. Is the driver that messed up?
And do you see him?
What's your record? What's the record of the person? What's the known record at the time? And then, all right, the officer is well within his rights to pull you in. But then here's your defense when you go before a judge. And now, do they have leeway? But to John's point, it's like everything over here is ignorance isn't a defense. You can't,
which
it's
not
claim
here
ignorance, because everybody would just be like, okay, I didn't know. Well, you're an idiot. Yup. And it doesn't mean you get away with it. I didn't know you couldn't walk out of a bank with the money.
But I wonder if a tourist would. I wonder if, again, back to my example of the summer of '98, had I been driving the car,
right?
And I'm not suggesting, look, you're over the limit. That's a different story. I'm not excusing that. Drink driving's bad. I mean, there's no question about it. But for instance, but if I cross the state line from New Hampshire into Mass and I open a bottle of Budweiser and I'm sipping on that, and it's the only thing I've had, and I've had a quarter of a sip of it, so I'm not impaired.
Right.
Do you think an officer's going to go, well, look, all right, you didn't know, you're a tourist, you haven't got a clue, that's fine, as long as you're polite and you're not being an idiot.
Well, I think it all goes.
Well, you just came from a state that didn't allow it in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I for argument's sake, teach.
But say you came from New Hampshire right? Say you came from New Hampshire, where it would be a lot, maybe it is allowed, right? And you drove into Massachusetts, and you're a tourist, from from England. And I'm the state trooper or whoever pulls you over and be like, it's allowed in New Hampshire. I didn't know, not in Massachusetts. I look at you and go, how'd you know it's not? How'd you know it's allowed in New Hampshire? Well, I looked it up. Well, then maybe you should have done that when you're venturing into Massachusetts. Yeah. You did your due diligence there, and then you traveled here. And I'd still give you a hard time. And I mean, John traveled to Italy, and he was reading up all those traffic violations and laws and stuff, because he's like, you don't want to get pegged for that stuff, because
which I'm still waiting for my tickets to show up.
Right, because he read reports that they love it. I mean, they're going to hit you with everything, all the fines, because it's free money from outside the country. You're not hitting your people, right? It's great. So, best off to be like, how about just don't drink in the car? It's like, or carry a howitzer in the back window.
Hey, Texas, it's I mean, as much as you're not allowed to have like the open alcohol container, you are required by law, I'm sure, to have some sort of, Gatling gun on the roof. It's just kind of part of it, surely.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's not anti-tank, you're in a lot of
standard.
trouble.
I don't even think you can buy a car in Texas without a gun.
Like somebody had a Death Race 2000. It's got these big machine guns on the bonnet. That's what I'm imagining. Awesome. But yeah, no, see, in England, you can have open alcohol. There's no issues here with that at all. In England and Wales, and you can do that. And I think it's the same in Scotland. It's the driver being over the drink drive limit is the issue. Right. I mean, you can pull up next to a cop drinking a can of Budweiser. It's fine. The police officer's going to pull you over, and
that's an import over there.
Yeah, hey man, that's the good stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not what they think of it here.
No.
But if you so as long as you're not under the limit, there's no issue. You can, like I say, you could be talking to the officer, swigging from your can, and they're not going to do anything about it. As long as you're under the limit, you're okay. It doesn't mean it's a sensible thing to do, but you can. So again, I wonder if you go over there and you're like, look, I'm from England. I didn't know. You can drink there as long as you don't, you're not over the limit. And then I wonder whether they would come down on you like a ton of bricks, or whether they'd be like, okay, fine, as long as you're polite. You know what to do. The way you do it, and this worked for me many times, not with alcohol, I hasten to add. But if you ever get in trouble in America, those listening that are in this country, talk poshly in your English accent. You will be fine.
Oh, right? God.
I love it.
Not my English accent.
But, the number of times I went into like a restaurant needing to use the loo, the toilet and stuff. And then, it's restrooms, customers only. He goes, oh, look, I'm terribly sorry. I've been rather caught short. Might I be able to use your restroom, please? And they just go doughy-eyed and go, well, of course you can. Yes, not a problem. Your Majesty. Yes, this way.
Well, if the biggest law you're breaking, Steve, is using a restroom and not purchasing something, I think you're doing all right over here.
Hey,
it's like, it's like, don't do what I did and go behind the store and piss on the dumpster and watch, and then have two cops show up and go, what are you doing? I was like, I just came from the Big E. Oh, whatever the heck it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember much from that day. Except for that. They let me go.
So Paul says that seems to work almost everywhere except New York City. To be fair, Paul, I didn't try it in New York, I must admit. But it absolutely worked in anywhere on the East Coast. It was great. And I found in Florida and on the West Coast as well. They just love it. It's just something about the English accent, man. You get away with murder, not literally.
Yeah,
like, that is not legal advice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
just so we're clear.
Yep. All right.
All righty.
Steve, taking any more Big Bang?
No, not today. I watched Heretic earlier.
Yep.
And then I was teaching, so I haven't had a chance to do any more. But I will. I'm looking forward to this.
Just checking in. Just check. Yeah. I can't wait for a weekly update. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm sure the listeners are like, all right, just let us know what time.
PF Productions was saying earlier. He said. Here he is. So he said he listened to most of Takeover Tuesday today whilst on a long drive. Nice to hear you two just riff on various topics. He said, I've never watched Big Bang Theory yet either. And then so I'm like, well, I thought it was just me. And he said, no, I'd like it, but 12 seasons of 25 episodes is a lot to catch up on.
Oh yeah.
And I just said, look, just take it a couple of episodes at a time. Doesn't matter if it's, months and months. That's, it's all good.
Yeah, there you go. Steve's putting himself in the chat. There we go. He's
I like to engage with
if you're looking at the screen right now, Steve is in your top right corner, and a lovely
and your
picture
bottom
of him
left
in the
corner.
top left corner. He's speaking to you, and he's narrating his own text.
And then I said,
exactly. Oh God, I love this show.
Oh man, it's because isn't it? But yeah,
so I could sit down here. Our pets' heads are falling off, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah. These PF Productions, by the way, just so you know, he has emailed you about a Takeover Tuesday being on one. Together documentary series and for Apple TV or sending them to Apple. That'd be fascinating.
Wow. Like we did. I actually was going to talk about this last night, but I decided I was going to, after when we just kept going and it didn't get worked into the show. I was going to work it in here, and typically we don't do this, but I think John will appreciate this. Where did it go? It was from Friday.
Don't put words in my mouth, man.
I'm trying not
much
to.
Pressure to
don't tread on me.
Yeah.
Where I saved it. I flagged it. There it is. All right. PF. There we go. I recently read this to my daughter today. Oh man, that's just, I gotta fix that. I can't see even with my glasses. It's too small. So this is Paul. Paul writes, "Hey DJ, I just donated $7.50 a month to Patreon. I'm glad you brought it up recently, and as I mentioned in the patron donation, I'm glad you guys are keeping it," in all caps. I held off in the past because it seems you are always giving it away to different monthly charities. My thinking was, why donate so they can give it away? I'd rather give it to charities of my own choosing. I was hoping it would go to you guys instead. When you recently mentioned keeping the money to do this full time, I had to climb on board. ! That's perfect, and it's exactly what you should do with it. You guys put in countless hours to make this content for all of us, and you deserve to be compensated, even if it's just to pay for the movies you all have to buy to review. Also, wouldn't mind being on a Takeover Tuesday sometime. My path, and I'll get into that. I will schedule with Paul, but he goes on to talk about everything, like his credentials, what he's done, and we'll talk about that in the Takeover Tuesday. But I was like blown away by that sentiment of like, we want you to keep it, right? And it's like, we still will be doing Movember, but I've had other people, like, you guys know, like when we ask for donations, a lot of people we tell them, go right to the source. You don't have to give it to us. I don't care if it comes through us. So people do that, and that's great. And maybe that's what we'll do in the future and stuff like that. But my daughter and I were talking today, and I'm in another topic, and that kind of this came up, and I was like, oh my God, let me read you this email. And she's like, see, that's what people, and I was like, it's like, and Paul, thank you very much. $7.50 a month is amazing. And even just explaining that to me in my thick skull, it's like, I do like to donate. I'd like to help. And it's like, I did this. I said it when we first started doing it, when I was coaching hockey. I'm like, the activities that we're in the things we have, home theater, there's a lot of excess money here. Right. And that's how I was looking at it. It's like, and there are a lot of people that are less fortunate than us in multiple ways. And here we are, talk about the sandbox of life here. It's like ridiculous. You need to have money to even be talking about this. So a few dollars here to help a charity, to help something, that's what I was going for. I didn't really care about myself. And I said to my daughter, I kind of need it now. But it's like, but at the same time, one of the things is, and like Paul says here, you guys can use it. You guys do this. And it's like, one of the things I've always told people is like, take care of yourself so you can help others. And it's like, if you don't take care of yourself first, you're no good to anybody else. Right. And so stuff like that. And that's why I went right to like literally a situation John's in right now. It's like if we had done this years ago, who knows where we'd be. Maybe he wouldn't even need to be doing this. I don't know what's going to happen, but we know the numbers, we know what's out there, and it's possible. So who knows, but I appreciate the sentiment, Paul. And I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah. And he's not the only one. It's right away. who was it? Upped their donation. Just edited. Jack. He just started donating. He upped his donation. Who was on the show a few weeks ago. So, and that was last week. And I had that highlighted right here too. So I'm like, what the, people are upping and stuff like that. And I really, really appreciate that. And, yeah. So,
fair play. So was that before or after John did his crikey? Because I think
after that was Friday. It was Friday. I got that.
Right.
I got the message from,
That's
I got the message from Paul on Friday, which is funny because maybe Paul heard it, the audio only on Friday, so it was probably right after the crikey.
Actually, that's why it wasn't higher. So
he was like,
I think that's a positive review.
I was gonna do 20, but jeez. It was like I edited out the part, don't give any to John.
Yeah.
No.
Well, but he works on his accent.
You're right on par with that. So
yeah. So but yeah, it's difficult times. I mean, you guys know how much I hate talking about money and how much I hate being like this, but at the same time, it's like, thank you for people like, Jack upping it, all the patrons, everybody, and Paul, and saying that so well and getting through my thick skull because John wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, I've only been saying it for 5 years, but
5. You've been saying it since we were kids.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I'm the one that was always
Like
like
and subscribe,
throwing money away, and John's like, nope, give me that quarter. You know what I was talking about this week, John? Do you remember this in school? Do you remember flipping quarters?
Not really.
You don't remember flipping quarters on the playground? Like literally quarters, like heads. If you get it right, you got the quarter.
I don't think I ever did that.
You never did that?
No.
We did it in class. You'd flip quarters and you'd
No,
be like,
I'd rather keep my quarter.
that's why there you go. And that's probably why I got rid of gambling. I'm like, people spend all this money going out to gamble. And it's like, why don't you just walk up to somebody and go, write down a number 1 to 10 and be like, I got a number 1 to 10. I got $20. You get it right, you get my 20. I get it wrong. You get it wrong, I get your 20.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And we could be and then when I said it, I was like, holy crap, we used to do this. We used to walk around. I remember playing with PJ Lamposona. I remember playing all these different, it'd be like quarters and be like heads. Oh crap. And you go home and you didn't have lunch.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I flipped my lunch money. And that's what we were flipping quarters, gambling as kids. Crazy.
I'm not sure what's more disturbing. I don't know whether it's kind of gambling or whether it's just bullying. I haven't quite figured out which one it is.
Well, nobody made you do it. That's not bullying. It's like, you're like, you want to flip? Sure. You got a quarter? You can't do it if you don't have a quarter. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with baseball cards.
Yeah.
That's why baseball cards are so valuable. Now, the old ones, we used to hit them. Remember? You'd line them up and hit them.
Well, I remember doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're throwing a Babe Ruth down. Yeah, okay, there goes 50 grand.
Well, we're not that old, DJ.
No, but I mean,
none of the cards that were out when we were kids are worth anything.
Yes.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, they're all worth something because they were all in our bike spokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a nice segue.
Trip down memory lane. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
We got back to East Coast sports again, Deej. What's going on?
Wait, back to East Coast sports? Yeah.
Yeah, we got there again.
Kyle Yastrzemski?
Yeah.
All right. What do we want to do? Do we want to get to some? It is still not even 6:00. Look at us not go.
We've got plenty, though, in fairness.
Yeah. I don't.
I don't either. I've got one.
Oh, man.
So.
Yeah, but we've got enough that you guys can talk about. There's at least 2 that you guys can talk about, and if not more. If we're clever with what we choose, we'll be good.
Yep. All right. Let's. You mentioned this yesterday, Steve. You want to kick this off?
Oh, yeah. Let's mention
it yesterday. So it was in the earlier show today for people that don't know. So if you do, go back, listen to the other show, come back and listen to this, and you can hear about it. No, I'm just kidding. All right, here we go.
Okay, so this then is The Gift. 2000 is year 2000.
Speaking of The Gift, go to patreon.com/
Gift away.
Nice.
You like that, John?
I did.
I'll tell you what, John, right? It's taken a while to get him warmed up, some 5 years, but now we won't stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. He's got a hot
That
streak.
monkey with the symbols. Just
Monkey with the symbols. So this is The Gift. Then this is 2000's The Gift, directed by Sam Raimi, with a true all-star cast, and this is on 4K UHD disc. It's an hour release, as you can see from the little color thing down the bottom there. 4K UHD DTS HD 5.1 master audio, upmixed to Neural X. Now, I think we established a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this right at the end of the show. You guys hadn't seen it, or at least don't remember if you've seen it. Is that right?
Sure, I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I've got a funny feeling if you start watching this, you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I have seen it. But I hadn't, and I definitely had not seen it. And when I say all-star cast, we're talking Cate Blanchett, who stars in it. We've got Greg Kinnear, we've got Hilary Swank, Keanu Reeves as doing his best bad guy. Giovanni Ribisi, Katie Holmes, everyone that's anyone. Plus, interestingly, bearing in mind this is directed by Sam Raimi, we have one. Oh God, that's gone out of my mind now. Who's the guy? J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah,
he's in it.
Okay.
And also you've got who's Aunt May in Spider-Man 2000? Oh my God, what's her name? Yeah. Anyway, God, I can't remember for the life of me. What's her name? Oh, someone in the chat, help us out. It's anyway. Rosemary Harris.
Oh, yeah, that I wouldn't have said. No.
Rosemary Harris. Have I got that right? Have I got that wrong? I might have got that wrong. I don't know. Anyway, someone from Spider-Man. So this was Sam Raimi's warm-up, I think, for Spider-Man, because this is 2000, and in 2002 we get Spider-Man, and so it's interesting that we then have these people that will later go on to have big roles in Spider-Man. So anyway, this is The Gift. We won't talk Spider-Man. So The Gift then is a movie that is Cate Blanchett is I don't know if you call her a psychic, a medium. She is someone who works. It's all in rural Georgia. Okay, as we talked about on the show last night on Takeover Tuesday, everyone's doing their best Georgian accent, and that's not mine. Okay, but everyone's giving
it a better one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I said I'd like to order some cod.
Oh, God, here we go. Was it Kirsten Dunst? Is that who you're thinking of?
No. Rosemary, the one who played Aunt May.
Aunt May.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to. Someone look it up.
Time to look it up. I'll
yeah.
Look it
up.
So
Anyway,
Rosemary Harris, May Parker.
Okay. Yeah, I did remember. All right, good stuff.
He remembered. He remembered.
He likes me. He really likes me. So Cate Blanchett is a psychic or a medium. I don't know what you call it. She lives in this very kind of rundown small town in Georgia. She has lost her husband. She's now a mother of 3 young children. She's been widowed, and what happens then is she then becomes involved in some local intrigue where a local socialite played by Katie Holmes goes missing, and she then has premonitions of what might have happened to her. The film is really, really good, and I really did enjoy it. It does have a bit of a whodunit to it. Now, if you're paying any kind of attention, you know immediately who done it. And I did instantly. There's not even a doubt in my mind, but I think the film wants it to be a whodunit. But it is a really good story. It's quite hard to watch at times. There are some very tricky domestic violence scenes in this that are really full on, mainly involving Keanu Reeves, Mr. Nice Guy. And yet in this, he's playing a really nasty character who is beyond redemption, and he really is nasty. And so there is some difficult stuff in this. And again, I just want people to know who are going to see it, because it could be triggering for victims. Anyone that's a victim of domestic violence might struggle with some of this. And I struggle with some of it, not as a victim, but I deal with victims all the time of this, as well as, of course, the perpetrators. And I did find it quite difficult at times, but it's a very well told film. And I did enjoy it, and it's well worth seeing. I mean, this is a film at one time I would have thought that would have been almost Oscar worthy because of how some of this is played out. So really, really good film. Now, it's an hour release. I've never seen it before, so I can't compare it to a VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. Don't know. Never seen it. This is in 4K, and the video on it is fantastic. I can't imagine how it could have looked any better. It's very colorful, ultra detailed. Sam Raimi kind of likes his 185 movies, and this is a 185 one. So there's lots of close-ups of characters looking directly into the camera, into the lens. And again, as we talk about all the time, you can see every pockmark and pore and imperfection in the actors' skins. A number of them, like Greg Kinnear's got very blue eyes, hasn't he? He always has had, and they leap off the screen on this. They almost look unnatural. But it looks so colorful, so detailed, even with the grain and everything else, because it's shot on film from 2000. Now, what's really interesting with this, and I did particularly like, is the audio. Now, upmixed, do you know what? I'm starting to wonder, was this in Atmos? No, it can't have been. It must have been DTS HD 5.1. But you wouldn't know it. Most of the movie is quite kind of front heavy, so most of the time everything's in the front of the screen. There's some off-screen kind of effects, but mainly it's at the front. But every time Cate Blanchett has a vision or a premonition or whatever you want to call it, it's like someone has grabbed hold of your screen, your display, and taken hold of the audio and pulled it right to the back of the room. So suddenly all the speakers come alive. There's a bit of Ellsworth effect. So we get some, thunder and lightning and some rain, but also you get this
windshield wipers.
Yeah. And you get this lovely echoey kind of movement of this stuff moving in the screen. So the whole room comes alive when she has these visions and these premonitions. And it's a very cool effect and quite creepy in its own way, which is what it's supposed to be. Bearing in mind it is Sam Raimi. And so I really did enjoy this. This was a great disc, a blind buy for me, and I'm so glad that I did. So if you guys get a chance to catch it, even if it's only streaming, I would recommend seeing it. But don't be surprised, guys. Oh, that's last night. But don't be surprised.
Yeah, where'd that go?
if you start watching it, I can imagine you guys going, I have seen this. And just kind of had forgotten about it as a kind of movie of the week, maybe. But it's way better. Oh, he's gone. We lost him. He's just gone again. So, Evil Dead Rise.
I guess, yeah. You say it 3 times. Quick, yeah, Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise.
Get him back. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised, though, John, if you do start watching. Hey, Deej, stop messing around, Deej. Come on.
Yeah, I know, huh?
I'm looking at it. It doesn't seem like something I've seen, but
yeah, but it seems what I'm struggling with is how an all-star cast movie like this. Yeah, and again, this would have been Oscar bait, certainly with Cate Blanchett, bearing in mind what she goes through in this.
2000.
I'm surprised that I can't imagine it. I know I could have missed it because it's a very American tale, but I can't get my head around how you guys would have missed it because of the nature of the movie that it is. So yeah, but maybe not. But I think when you start watching it, you'll be like, yeah, all right, okay, I do know. But very, very good. A really good blind buy. If you can get around the Georgian accents, as I said, everyone is giving it the best Georgian they can.
Yeah.
But it is better than a certain actress from Reacher season 3. So, I would say that. No one's quite that challenging. So yeah, no, really recommend it, fellas. Is it on Kaleidoscope, Deej? Have you had a chance to look, or
you want me to hit more buttons?
Yeah, careful with that. Yeah,
he's already
it's
broke it once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if is it out over there, John, as well? Is it on Amazon?
It is. It's on Amazon. It's $29.64 on Amazon, so it's a little pricey.
It is for a 2000 movie. Yeah, Cate Blanchett. Yeah,
Cate Blanchett, Sam Raimi. Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi. Yeah, it's on Kaleidoscope in SD though. So no.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
$14.99 on SD, and as me and Steve Brock have told you. Yeah, John, love you, buddy. Do not buy SD. It does not go well.
No. Well, certainly not on a screen the size of yours.
Yeah, or his is 150, I believe. So yeah, I did it once, and just for like blanks and giggles, he was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, it's not going to look good.
No, it was not.
But if it does pop up though, or if it you get it for a decent price, I absolutely recommend it. It's really good. It's way better than it's got any right to be. But again, with the caveat, it is hard to watch at times. Things, nasty stuff happens in this to fairly good people, including in front of children, which I always struggle with. But it's service of the story. It's not exploitative. It is deliberately establishing character, but it's still hard to watch. But I thought it was great. You really, really like this film. So yeah, recommended for those that haven't seen it or those that don't remember if they've seen it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out when it's not SD.
Oh yeah.
So let's see, remove. Let me see if I'm trying a different way of,
go for it.
Of doing these things, because I can.
See.
They've upgraded StreamYard, so I can.
Yeah, they have. I saw that when I logged in.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see if it's any better for doing things. John, you ready to do this one? You're the one you.
My
have
one.
Here?
Yeah. Sure.
Let me see how this comes up. So we will stage. Wrong button.
Oh, I was to say, how did you know?
Hasn't even started yet.
How did you know, DJ?
What the hell?
I've never even heard that one.
What the? All right, let's back out. We're gonna do this again because this, and to be fair, it kind of went with the way the image came up. I didn't even like the way it came up.
Just whilst DJ's messing about.
Oh my God.
So it's a fake quote from Rosemary Harris when she was clinging to Alfred Marina on the top of a fake New York building. So that's Amazing Spider-Man 2, isn't it? Spider-Man 2. Yeah. And she's about to do a shot of them going over the side saying, "I'm classically trained, you know."
That was great. Man. Yeah, so let's do it this way. It comes out better. All right, you ready, John?
I'm still ready.
And let's do this again from the top.
All right, can we get the language? Nope, that's not the button.
All right, so before we have any more mishaps, this is Pearl, which is, of course, a prequel to the movie X.
Yes.
Which I talked about, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so.
Oh, easy. A couple of years?
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And was not the biggest fan of. I didn't really care for X. And really wasn't going to watch any of the 2 follow-ups. But I have this available on my Zedo. And so I thought I'd give it a go. This is, of course, 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. So just to get it out of the way, I did like this more than X by a lot, actually. I actually had a good time with this. I enjoyed the movie. Again, it's a little over the top, which, these movies can be. But I did, like I said, I enjoyed this more than X. And I will probably watch Maxine and have that for next week. So that's my take on the film. As far as the presentation goes, I thought the picture on this was awesome. Very colorful, and super colorful for a horror movie. Although, again, this is about as horror as like an episode of Law and Order. It's real. It's really not horror. It's more just kill. Yeah, it's not. It's just there's no real elements of suspense and horror to this film. It's just a murder movie. She just kills a bunch of people. But I don't know. Anyway, I didn't find. But I guess it's horrific in the sense that she's killing a bunch of people.
I was gonna say, it's not horror unless you're the one getting killed. Yeah. But okay.
But I don't know. To me, it's not your. I don't know. I didn't really think of it much as a horror movie more than
I get it.
Something you'd see on any murder mystery show
on regular television.
Yeah, maybe just not quite as bloody.
Right.
But that, like I said, but the picture, it was super colorful, super sharp. I thought it looked great. The audio, I guess I kind of feel the same way as what you were saying with The Gift, Steve. For about the first half of this movie, I wasn't really impressed with the audio at all. Like, I just didn't feel like I was enveloped at all for a Dolby Atmos mix. Felt like everything was kind of front facing. And then about halfway through, you have the obligatory thunderstorm scene where everything sort of came alive. And then from that point on, maybe I just started noticing it more, but I just felt like it was a lot more enveloping for the second half of the movie than it was in the first. I kind of felt myself sitting there watching it and feeling kind of in the middle of it because I had, crickets and, bugs, all kinds of stuff going on in my ears, behind me and to the sides of me. And I feel like it got a lot more enveloping with the second half of the movie. But like I said, the first half, either I just wasn't noticing it, but nothing stood out. Nothing really kind of grabbed me and let me know that, hey, this is a Dolby Atmos mix. But once the storm hits and, all that rain and thunder and all that stuff came, it kind of felt like they flipped the switch and, they turned the Atmos button on and, there it was. But yeah, overall, I thought, the picture was better than the sound. But, second 45, 50 minutes of it, I thought the Atmos was pretty solid. So,
nice.
Right.
Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray of this. I don't think it's out in 4K over here.
Okay.
It's only so I've got the Blu-ray with that, and I did review it, I think, way back when. And I enjoyed this much more than I thought I was going to. I mean, I personally prefer X, but that's because it's a slasher movie from the 80s type, right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre type. It's my kind of genre. But I do like this one quite a lot, and more than I expected. And of course, we have David Corenswet in this, who of course is the new Superman. Yeah. And although I'm sure he'll get on better in that than he does in this.
Yeah, which I had never seen him in anything prior to this, so at least I got
Twisters.
Was he in Twisters?
Yeah. He's one of the second in command of the kind of the rich.
Oh, company. I didn't even recognize him at all. Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, he was shooting that when he found out he was in Superman, and there's a video on YouTube of the cast. They all found out at the same time, and he sort of just told them, and they're all going absolutely crazy. Glenn Powell and that going mad.
So this was the first thing that I knew that I was watching him in,
right?
Because in Twisters, I didn't know that was him.
But
over at the end of the day, I still don't think this was like my favorite. Like, I don't know when I'll go back to this. I don't, it's still not my favorite series of movies. But I did like it. Like I said, I did like it more than X. So
I think that final shot, over the credits is just incredible. I absolutely love it's all, again, no spoilers, but that last shot is just wow. Yeah. And what I admire about this, you're right, John, it's not your typical horror film. I mean, Ty West isn't a typical horror movie director, really. Right. I mean, X is the closest you get to a run-of-the-mill slasher movie. This one is not like it, and Maxine is definitely not. But personally, I think Maxine's quite a big letdown compared to these two. These two are good, I think. Maxine, I didn't quite vibe with. Okay. I've got it.
I have it, so I will watch it.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what you make of it. It's a different kind of movie again. Odd film, but good. I'm glad you enjoyed this. I did think when I saw that you'd seen it, I thought, oh no, John hated X.
Yeah, well, and the thing, not to spoil a movie that we talked about 3 years ago, but I couldn't get over the killers being, 90-year-old.
Yes.
And at least now where it comes from. Like, I enjoyed kind of getting the backstory to that. I still think it's ridiculous, but at least I know where Pearl came from. So absolutely. Well, it is silly, and they don't have to move around quickly for elderly people as well. They seem to be everywhere you don't want them to be. Exactly. I'm 55 and I can't move that fast. So.
They do have portals clearly in X. But good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's interesting because it's definitely a different kind of horror movie. I'm not even sure you could call it horror. I think you're right. It's in a class of its own, or a genre of its own. Right. Nice. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll be very curious to see what you make of Maxine. Yeah, that will be interesting. That's the one after X, obviously. Well, actually, I was going to say, I don't know where that even fits into the story, but I guess. It's 80s Hollywood. She's trying to break into the adult film industry after the events of X, and it's kind of, what happens in the seedy side of Hollywood in the 80s porn industry, basically. Right. But it's an odd movie again. Okay. But yeah, so what do you think about that? That'd be good. Nice. Cool.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to try something. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And you see what I have on?
Yeah, I can see the next one.
Yeah. So we could all talk about this. I know John and I have seen it. And you. Yeah. Is this your first time seeing it? No. I saw it when it came out on the app. All right. Well, All right, let's see.
Okay. So this is Falcon and the Winter Soldier on 4K UHD disc in Dolby Atmos. And now that it's on there, I can say, so I saw it when it came out on Disney Plus, as we all did. And of course, I've gone back to this having seen Captain America Brave New World. And this is the second movie or TV series that I've gone back to having seen Brave New World. And I've had this on disc since it came out in the US. This is one of those, again, my brother brought back from Canada, and it's just kind of, I put it on in the disc sleeves, bunged it on the shelf and kind of forgot about it. And I did enjoy the series, but it's just kind of got subsumed into all these other discs coming out, and it just went on the shelf, and I then promptly forgot and kind of moved on, as happens from time to time. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because the Patreon lot will stop sending us cash.
Oh no.
Right. Sorry, this is anyway, so I had forgotten about it, so I've gone back to it, and I like this series. I think this series is actually better than a lot of people give it credit for. I know I have weird views on these series anyway. I'm the one that doesn't really like Andor. Everybody loves it. So I get that I have some twisted views of some of these, and so I get that. But that notwithstanding, I like this series. I think it's lean and mean. It doesn't try to do too much. It's really good. I'm about 4 episodes in. I haven't finished the series, but I'm going through it. And so I am enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun the second time around. Really good. I had forgotten about entire sequences in this, including, most importantly so far anyway, the opening sequence. I mean, do you guys remember what the opening sequence is? No. What about you, Deej? The opening massive action sequence?
No.
Weren't they chasing a truck? Weren't they chasing some
No. There you go. That's episode 2.
Oh, okay.
It begins with essentially a precursor to Brave New World with the Tiamat thing. This begins with a ginormous action scene from where Sam's jumping out of planes and flying through helicopters, and he's being pursued through canyons, and there are missiles going off, and there are big machine guns, and there are people with flight suits, and it's this ginormous action sequence. And and this is how it starts. And you even get the fisheye lens, the close-up of him flying towards the camera, right in the lens, and you've got this fisheye lens, and then you can see everything behind him. And so this begins with this beautiful, bright, colorful, ultra detailed action sequence, and you're just like, wow, I had completely forgotten this. And it's a nice precursor then to what we're going to get in Brave New World when it hits disc. And so straight away I'm thinking, I have completely forgotten this. Because again, John, if you
remember that before, now that you say it.
Yeah, man, I'd totally forgotten. And again, when you said about the truck, if you'd said to me before I started rewatching this, tell me an action sequence in this, and I would have said, oh, there's a sequence with the truck in Captain America, and this, so I would have done the same. But I've completely forgotten it. This action scene is ginormous. It's huge.
Right.
And it's how it begins, and it looks fantastic. It's, like I said, ultra bright. It's in daylight. It's very, very detailed. You've got all the kind of the very close up stuff of him. So again, all the pores, all the the sort of facial hair that he's got, the Anthony Mackie. It just looks awesome. And with that, you then get decent sound. Now, I'm not going to lie and suggest that this is not Lucy. This, in terms of bass response, this is not June 2 or Dune 2. It's none of that. All right. It never goes that deep. Okay. But it's not at mouse either. All right. I'm not going to say it's a happy medium, because I would like just about everything to sound as bassy as June 2 and Lucy, if you could, especially the type of action in this. But it's okay. It's decent. It does at least give some heft to what's on screen, which is not always the case. So I really enjoying this. And it carries on looking that good. They've just got to the city. I can't remember what they called it. Just finished episode 3, where they're in this city of lights and neon lights. I can't remember what it's called already. In one ear out the other. There you go. Brilliant. Thanks, John. There we go. So it's nice having a comic book guy around.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if that was that show.
That was it. So it looks brilliant. And again, it's nice and neon lit, and it looks great. And then you get the thumping bass of the nightclub and the music. which sounds pretty decent, man. I was impressed with it. So this is a very, very good looking and sounding series on Disney Plus, on disc from Disney Plus, and recommended if you can pick it up, or if you've got it already and you've done like I did and forgot you had it, then it's worth revisiting. And as I said, if nothing else, just watch your opening sequence to give you an idea of what we're going to get when Brave New World hits, because it's almost identical. It's almost like this opening sequence is a previs for Brave New World, because it's all exactly the same. Missiles firing here, there, and everywhere. It's really cool, really, really good. So I was pleased with this. I'm enjoying the series again, and definitely recommend it amongst the Disney Plus physical media releases. So very pleased.
I feel like when this was out, it was like I felt disappointed. Like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as what I thought it was going to be, and that's kind of like what I took away from it, and how I remember it. And like when the movie came out, I'm like, oh, I don't need to watch the series. I don't need to catch up. It was like it was good, and I felt like it had less action than I wanted it to have. And I mean, I liked the storyline. I liked some of the behind the scenes stuff that they got into. Not behind the scenes of the movie or whatever, but I'm saying like the some of the characters that, I don't want to spoil it for people, but some stuff people twist in different ways. A couple of characters actually flip flop in a little bit. So where that plays out, I don't know, but. But yeah, it's funny you say that, because I forgot that. It makes me want to just go get it on streaming now, just to see it, right? And then, but
it's worth it for that. Do that. It would be worth. Obviously, health notwithstanding, Deej. But as an opening sequence, it really does set the scene. I mean, Paul says all the budget went on that opening sequence. You might be right there, Paul. Yeah, you might be right. But it's great. And again, we'd all forgotten it. All three of us. So we've all seen it and had completely forgotten it. So if nothing else, if you haven't got time to go back, just watch that opening and then fantasize about what Brave New World will look like and sound like when we get that. About that, nothing else.
About that. Oh, okay. All right. I got you. All right. Fantasize. But I just go fantasize.
Nice. In the evening with a bang. But it.
All right. Back to Underworld.
Back to the show. Yes. Yeah. So I'm like you. I didn't feel the need to rewatch this before seeing Brave New World either, because the same sort of thing. I remember thinking I enjoyed it, but it's not essential. But now going back to it again, I recommend this again. I think it was good, and looks much better than some of them, and sounds decent as well. Don't go in expecting Lucy or June 2, as I say, or Furiosa, or any of our top 10 from last year, even number 5 Twister. Don't go expect any of that, but do expect a solid.
It depends on how you do the math.
No, it always comes out at number 5. Always. We've established
it. Actually did, yeah.
So I do recommend seeing this again, and even if it is Disney Plus, guys. I mean, we all pay for that. We got it. We might as well make use of it. But I think the disc is significantly better, and certainly looks better than I remember it. I haven't A/B'd it, I must admit. But it looks great and sounds good as well. So cool. Recommend it.
All right, yeah. It's like I picked up. What was the one you talked about? Ahsoka.
Oh,
I did pick it up, and I haven't had a chance. It's sitting on my popcorn machine next to my theater, waiting to be played, and it's that didn't make it in time.
Well, we know why.
Yeah, exactly. It's been here like a week and a half. I just haven't.
That's good. It'll be good when you get round to it. It's just there. It's not going anywhere.
All right. Yeah. Look, I'm actually really, really looking forward to that one. So
that's great.
Yep.
I must admit, I'm enjoying going back to these series. I've got Loki season 1 and 2, and season 2 I haven't even seen, not at all. So I'm going to try and get those in next and try and watch both of those. Those are going to be my next little kind of Disney Plus series on disc that I'm going to watch. I had Mandalorian season 3 arrive today, but I'm going to see Loki 1 and 2, and maybe even Scarlet Witch or WandaVision, whatever it is.
It's so funny. It's like I really wonder why they're withholding all of these from Kaleidoscape. Like they're all on disc. We're getting none of them on Kaleidoscape. None of the series. And as soon as something streams, we get it on anything from Disney. As soon as it streams, we get it on Kaleidoscape. And it's just it's like you can buy the disc now, but you can't get it on Kaleidoscape. And that's just It's really
It
weird.
is weird. But the other thing that's weird about it is the release schedule, not schedule. The release schedule generally is because it's weird. Like Mando season 3. So that came out here yesterday. So I picked that up. It arrived from Amazon today. And of course, that starts with Mando in a place from the Book of Boba Fett that you can't get physically. So you'd be watching. So I'm going to go into season 3 thinking, okay, oh yeah, right, that's what happened. Yeah, okay, because Boba Fett became kind of Mando 2.5, didn't it, towards the end?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's weird. So they'll release Mandalorian 1, 2, and 3, even though really to get the most out of 3, you needed to have seen the Book of Boba Fett, which isn't available. So that's kind of weird. I mean, I would like She-Hulk. I would like that. I'd rather enjoy that series. I thought it was quite fun. Yeah. And there are a number of them that they really should, for continuity purposes, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So Disney's weird. They do have.
I was going to say, do you think that they won't? I mean, they might still come.
They've skipped them though, haven't they? They've skipped on beyond them. They've gone beyond. She-Hulk was prior to some of these, and so I mean that was what, 2.5 years ago, nearly 3 years,
probably.
So they've gone, and certainly Mandalorian season 3 came after Book of Boba Fett. And
well,
we haven't
that's
had that.
True. Yeah.
So it's like, they seem to have just skipped.
Well, and you're right. The Ahsoka's already out, but Book of Boba Fett is not.
Yeah.
That's
so
odd. Yeah.
It is, because I mean, I'd quite like Book of Boba Fett myself. I'd pick it up.
Well, it just basically their pattern shows there is no pattern, that they're just going to go by popularity on what's on the market, what's going to sell, right? And it's not like a guarantee that a series is going to get a physical release. So I guess does that send a message like watch it, otherwise it isn't coming? Like if you're just going to sit here and watch for the disc and everybody does that, it's not showing up.
But I guess if they underperformed on Disney Plus, then maybe they're just not going to give them a release.
And that's not a bad message.
Now thinking about it, we haven't gotten like Miss Marvel hasn't come to physical disc.
Right.
Which,
that was a good show.
I liked it,
that
but
show,
it didn't. It underperformed on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jordan says it's also makes you wonder why these shows are only releasing physically via 4K steelbooks. No standard 4K Blu-ray or DVD release, which is weird as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Well, to be fair, their release that right there tells me they're giving us the 4K. Them trying to make the money, and you're getting an upgrade. The Blu-ray and DVD. If you can't, why would I sell you a DVD when you can go on? You pay a monthly fee and you'll be able to see it whenever you want at a better quality.
Right.
Why am I going to undercut my stream? Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to, I'm going to charge you $19.99 for a Blu-ray, for a DVD when you can pay
the only
less
real
than that a month and watch all of these shows. Right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And the reason the Steelbook is like, here, it performed well. We'll give this to the collectors. It's a reward for for us watching it on their primary service. Right. And that's, you might not like it, but that's business. We talked about it a few weeks ago with you couldn't watch the Patriots on TV unless they sold the building out, so it's like, or it was like 80% capacity, whatever it was. But it's like, we're not going to undercut ourselves and then give it to everybody to just stay home. So there's got to be an incentive there. And that to me makes sense. So,
but like I said, if they're listening, Disney, we'll have She-Hulk, please, and Skeleton Crew. I'll quite happily have that. Not too bothered about what was the one that got cancelled before that? Star Wars, set in the Old Republic.
Acolyte.
Not too fussed about that.
I really liked Acolyte.
I liked Acolyte.
There was too much that I didn't understand. Yeah.
It was a thinker. At least it was for me.
But I liked it. Yeah.
John and I were like, this is good. Steve's like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Well, I just I think it kind of went into, and again, this is why I'm grateful to you guys. There were things in it that I would not have understood. The changing of the kyber crystal, using the force. I'm colored. I've never heard of that. But you guys are like, oh, Steve, honestly, sit down, Steve. Let me tell you why.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story.
Excuse me. But whereas I think a lot of people, wouldn't have got that, and I didn't understand it. I thought it was kind of silly. It's not until you explain it, you're like, oh, okay, right.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't particularly feel the need to own that. But Skeleton Crew, I certainly would. And again, She-Hulk, as I say, That'd be great. I rather like that show, and I know that's been cancelled, and they're not going near that ever again.
A lot, actually.
Yeah, kind of really a lot of fun, a lot of dopey fun.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah,
it was silly. I didn't like it as much as John, but I didn't hate it.
No,
like a lot of people did. That one got really bashed.
Yeah,
it did, but you know,
but yeah, and you get just like you got like when they came out when Natalie Portman was going to be Thor, and it's like people don't realize that these have been going on for decades, and they just think it's all like it's new, trying to answer to the new culture. No, this has been around forever.
Well, right, because everybody thinks, oh, Disney just went woke and made Captain America black. I mean, Sam Wilson was Captain America in the comics 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, I mean,
yeah. It's not new. It's like, it's so funny. It's everybody's like, look at now they got to do that. No, this has been there forever. It's like, it's not new. It's what it, no. All right. You see what I got on stage?
Oh yeah.
You ready for this? And then we'll wrap up with the one we all know.
Yeah. That's great. As long as you guys are okay with that. Yeah.
Is that cool? That's
lay it on me. Let's do it. This is one I watched earlier today.
All right, here we go. Let me make sure I don't have a trombone.
I don't know what it is. So, okay.
Yeah, apologies for the picture. Moving menus. Okay.
I'm looking forward to this, though.
10. Oh, let me tempt you further there. Let me tantalize you, John.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so for those listening to the audio,
I was going to say, let the listeners know.
This is then The Heretic, or Heretic, in fact, maybe not The Heretic, it's just Heretic, which came out here on 4K Blu-ray yesterday. I think it's been out for a couple of months in the US, maybe longer. We kind of had a twisted journey to 4K here. So it came out yesterday. I haven't seen it until today. I didn't see it in theaters. I mentioned to Jordan, he and I were chatting via DMs a couple of days ago. I'd had access to a screener of it and had seen the first 5 minutes and was like, I don't want to ruin this. I want to see this properly. And so that was it. And I just stopped the screen. I was like, forget it. I'm not going to watch this in 1080p and 5.1. I'm going to wait for the 4K disc.
Right.
So this is 4K UHD disc, Dolby Atmos as well. And of course, Carl Ellsworth talked about this on the 25-hour show. Deej, again, I know we keep talking about Carl. Yeah. There's a reason he would have liked this. The whole thing takes place during a storm. No wonder he likes it.
Yeah.
And he had talked about how he had spoken to Beck and Wood, who were the guys that directed it. And he had then been to their theater, hadn't he? He'd been there to see it and then spoke to them afterwards, which is very cool. And they wrote it, directed it, and produced it. This is their baby, this movie. And it's a movie about two Mormon sisters, as in Mormon sisters, they're related. And they are given an address to go to spread the gospel. And they arrive at this address just as a storm is hitting, wouldn't you know it? And they ring the doorbell, and answers Hugh Grant, of all people. Okay, disarming Hugh Grant. Okay, at his most charming. And he invites them in on the understanding he wants to know more about the Mormon church. And very quickly, we discover he is not who he seems to be. That is not a spoiler. That's in the trailer. Okay. And things then go from there, and they go downhill pretty quickly. Again, not a spoiler. All right. Otherwise, it would be really boring if they just sat around talking.
Yeah.
So first time viewing this movie, and I seem to remember, I think it might have been Carl. I might be wrong. And Carl, when you're listening to this, if I'm wrong, you tell me. All right, text me and let me know. And apologies if I am wrong. I think I remember him or someone saying they like the first half more than the second half. There is a point at which this movie changes. It's not Dusk Till Dawn. It's not like that. But there are clearly two halves to this film. There is the one half where the setup, and then you've got a payoff. And I thought it might have been Carl, said they preferred the setup rather than the payoff. And I think I agree with that. That's not to say the payoff isn't interesting. This movie's never boring, ever. But the way it is set up is nothing short of revelatory. This is no wonder Carl liked it, because the writing in this, in terms of Hugh Grant and the way he is delivering this, and there's been talk of him, in Oscar buzz for something like this, and I can see why. The writing's fantastic. And you're going to, John, you're going to love it because it's this kind of genre film. But Deej, you're going to love the way you like to debate. Yeah, the way we talked, and how you want to kind of put forward an argument about something. There is a sequence in this, an extended sequence, where Hugh Grant lays out his world view, which is written very cleverly indeed. I'm not giving any of it away other than it's really good and riveting. Okay, absolutely bug nuts crazy, but it's riveting. And I think you'll be like just open mouthed. And John, as I say, you're going to love it because of the genre trappings and the writing as well. So I did enjoy the setup more than the payoff. I was never bored. I never took my eyes off the screen. And again, this is one of those movies that I think needs to be seen at home. I would not have wanted to see this in a commercial theater with anybody else distracting me. This is a movie to just let the kind of the unsettling unease, uncertainty of what is really happening wash over you without interruption from anybody else. So I did enjoy it. As I said, not as good second half. We'll talk spoilers when you've seen it, guys. But first half, very, very good indeed. So the video is really nice. It's not showy video. It's 235. It's never. You're not going to pull this off the shelf and say to someone, "Look at this." You're never going to do that, but it is good. And when you get to some of the darker scenes, 4K is great for that. Again, HDR, the shadow detail, there are things moving in the detail in the shadows of this that you're going to want to see. If you haven't got your display properly calibrated, or if you're not watching it in 4K and HDR, you're going to miss a lot of information. So that is good, but it's not a showy video. What is good in particular, though, is the Atmos audio on this. You'd expect the storm to sound good. Of course it does. Again, Ellsworth effect, right? It's going to sound great. And it does. And the thunder rolls around the room, and there's wind and there's rain and everything else. And that all does what you'd expect it to do. But once they're inside the house, where some mixes, most audio mixes, would kind of then just forget about surround sound, this movie embraces it to the point where there are the track has little kind of clicks and little ticks of stuff of the house moving. There are times where Hugh Grant moves around the back of the camera as he's talking to the two girls, and his voice goes with it. Not all the time, but he does do it. There are all kinds of little things going on, little audio cues. It's a constantly enveloping mix, and it's all designed to unsettle you. It's all designed to be creepy AF. Don't ask Mikey's kids. Don't ask. All right.
Hell, they're going to tell him.
Yeah, no, man, Dad, honestly. Yeah. So it's a really clever mix. This is a very intricate sound mix. This one. There are no explosions, no guns. Damn it. Okay, it's not in Texas. All right. So there are no guns. There's no massive explosions or anything like that. It's an evocative mix. It's an Atmos mix designed to unsettle, and it's really good. Not far off reference, I would say, not a million miles away, for a mix that's not designed to be showy. So it's not, and I wouldn't even say like it's like Gravity, because Gravity, I think, is showy at times. It's meant to be drawing your attention to these things, whereas this mix does it in very subtle and very unsettling ways. So this is a great disc of an intriguing movie that when you've seen it, you'll want to talk about it. And I don't know whether the other half would want to see it. Like, guys, I don't know. I mean, I watched this on my own. I'm not sure whether it's one you'd want to necessarily see with Jen or Lydia, because it's a challenging film in a kind of, there's all kinds of potential agency issues and misogynistic issues and all kinds of other things, but there is definitely a discussion to be had. So yeah, recommend this, guy. Sorry, I know I've gone on a bit.
Oh no,
it's really good, good, and I do recommend it for that. And Hugh Grant's never been better. This is his finest performance by a country mile. He's never been this good. And again, like we were talking about with Harrison Ford, John, you start to think, have we missed a very, very good actor here? Has he been just wrapped up in the rom-coms in the 90s, and then the kind of the silly characters he's been playing of late, because he's got young kids. He's only married not that long ago. This is all on Smartless as well, isn't it? So he's got 3 young children, and I think he's embraced his Paddington roles. That the kind of the off the wall roles. This is pure, acting. he's really, really good. So if nothing else, if you're not even intrigued by the premise, just watch it for his delivery of this stuff. There's some amazing writing in this. So yeah, recommend it all day long. This one. Is it on Kaleidoscope, Deej?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is it? Because it's seems to be hard to get here in 4K.
4K.
It's on disc.
Dolby
It's on
Vision,
disc.
Dolby Atmos.
Not
$24.99.
Well, at least not on Amazon. There's a A24 Steelbook exclusive from their website, but it's like $50.
Whoa!
It's not
$50. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy because it's £25 here, but it's not a steelbook. It's just
I can import the UK version cheaper than I can buy the Steelbook from A24. It'll cost me $40 to get the UK version, but it's only on Blu-ray on Amazon.
Oh man!
And even that's $30. So
I mean that is a lot. Yeah, I mean it's a hell of a film though. I mean, it might be worth John catching it on streaming somewhere.
Well, I can rent it for $4. Yeah,
do that, and then just see if that's one that you're then going to want to watch.
Yeah, because before I spend $50 on it.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind you can get 2 other movies for that easy.
Yeah.
Jordan's saying the 4K disc in the US is an A24 shop exclusive.
So. Even on eBay, it's almost $60. So
that's getting the Lawrence of Arabia money.
Yeah, right.
We
all know how that turned out.
Or Gravity Diamond Lux.
Right.
But
I'll more than likely
rent it, John. Rent it, man, and let me know what you think of it. Because and if you rent it in 4K, you'll get your Atmos and you'll get all that stuff. It's on iTunes or whatever it is. Then it's worth it because I want to talk to you about it and see what you think about it. And again, Deej, I mean, obviously, when you're ready for this. It's ready. Don't wait for Halloween because it's not a Halloween kind of movie. This is more thriller than horror, although there's definitely horror elements.
But they have it as suspense and horror on Kaleidoscope. That's what
which
they
is fair.
Suspense horror are 150 an hour, 50 minutes, 2024. It's been out for a while on Kaleidoscope. I remember seeing it come out, and I know I love like A24 films, so I was like, ooh, and obviously just didn't get around to it, but yeah, and it's like, I'll tell you where my head's at today. It's like you said, you're like Hugh Grant was great in this, so I pull it up on Kaleidoscope and I'm looking, and the poster is like, they show Hugh Grant like this, whatever. So it's not like the image that we have up right here. And I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, what's set? And then the cast: Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. That's what it's listed. And I'm like, where's his name? You said Hugh Grant, and my mind went immediately to Hugh Jackman. I don't know why. And now I'm pulling it up, looking. I'm like, where's Hugh Jackman? I thought he said he was great in this, and you said Hugh Grant. I'm looking at Hugh Grant. His name is the first, is the lead actor, and I'm still looking for Hugh Jackman. That's like what an idiot I am right now.
I'll grant you that.
Thank you that I'm an idiot. You could grant me that all day, every day. It's like,
I'll grant you that.
I got you. I was trying to let it go. I got you. God bless you. Okay. I do want to talk to you guys about it. This might be another one for our spoiler end credit scene. Hugh Bonneville. Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie. Love Hugh Laurie.
But this might be one for our special end credit scene that we introduced last week. To a very lengthy end credit scene. This could be one to talk about because it is intriguing, and I want to know what you guys make of the second half as well, and whether you kind of with it or maybe not. This is one you could do a whole show on. You really could. And again, a bit like Travis Bolstad's absolute favorite, Azrael. It's one that can be taken a number of ways and has very clear religious overtones. Travis says he loved Heretic, but was disappointed with Azrael. Honestly.
Exactly.
So
what does Travis know?
A lot.
I know. More than me.
So this is one I'd like to talk to you guys about. I'd be really curious to see what you make of this. I think you'll be interested, if nothing else. Huge ass.
You weren't supposed to say it.
Sorry.
Travis was
Well, the thing is, until Steve just said it out
Boys
loud,
joke.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
I thought it was I was like, I don't know who that is.
It's the Jerky Boys jokes. It's exactly.
It's Simpsons, isn't it? Isn't that these the ones that Bart Simpson rings through to most?
I think the Jerky Boys were around before the Simpsons, though. I remember it. Those audio tapes.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's just one where he rings up for IP freely and huge ass BO problem.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Before we go off the rails, you ready to get to this week's feature? Because it's the one we've all seen. It's the only one I've seen.
Feature. No, it rhymes.
Oh my god. Trying to tease it, and you guys are just giving it all away, giving it away for free. They go, why do we even rehearse?
Just say it to yourself,
exactly.
John.
You could say any of
I
them
got it now.
with Hugh. It's like Hugh. This one you could say Jordan's a humongous.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah. Let's get that. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm thinking of them in my. No, forget it. John. Oh God. I was like, till you said it.
I just didn't register.
Yeah. No, it does now.
It does now.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Are you ready to get to this week's?
It's just a shame you haven't got the shop still, John. Man, I'd be ringing you up, making all kinds of like, can I speak to Mr. Sea Lion, please?
Yeah, exactly. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better catch it.
Can I speak to Mr. Wall, please? Mrs. Wall, little Wall. Well, how are you keeping your seating up then?
Yeah.
The walls.
Anyway,
there's no way. Oh boy. Oh yeah.
You boys.
Yep. That's just it.
Voice being the operative word.
Yeah. Oh, you boys. Yeah, we never grow up.
So. No.
All right. Here we go.
Sorry for
We're talking Reacher. That's just Reacher, not I'm leaving this all alone.
Just Reacher.
We're not getting around to Reacher.
Or
vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. All right, Reacher season 3, now on Amazon Prime. First, did they drop all 3 at once? I wasn't sure if I caught that correctly.
Yeah, 3 episodes.
Okay, all 3 episodes dropped. What, last Thursday or Friday, something like that?
Thursday.
Alan Richson. It really. I mean, I could not wait for this to drop. This is one that I was really looking forward to. Really enjoyed the first 2, and hoping they do drop on Kaleidoscape, because Amazon did do that last time. The first 2 are out, but they're only out in HD. They don't put them out in 4K. This is in 4K, I believe.
4K with Atmos, actually.
Yeah.
Was it? Mine wasn't.
If you pay for the upgraded Amazon Prime.
I get Amazon with Atmos. For some reason, I was getting at first I was just getting 2-channel. Then it was like funky, and then all of a sudden it kicked in. So I don't know if it was my stream.
I mean, it's not great Atmos, but it is Atmos. Yeah.
So Steve and I teased it a little bit last night, a lot of it last night. Well, in the morning show today, we teased it a bit. And it's home theater wise, like John just said, it's like I feel like it's good, fine.
It's fine.
Doesn't need to be watched in your theater, as I said last night. It's got a nice picture, nice sound, but it doesn't lend itself to, it has some action scenes, but there's
definitely guns and explosions, but
but it's not one that has to be watched in your theater. But if you do, it will be enhanced a little bit. Is that fair to say? It's like, it's not like, oh, gotta see it. Those explosions are great. And story is much like the first 2. They get you intrigued right from jump. As Steve and I said earlier, it was like you don't even get it, and then of course it's Reacher. He's smarter than we are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that first episode, I was like, well, that's a big departure.
Yep.
For
That's what
Reacher.
Steve and I said, yeah.
But without
and
spoiling
super
anything,
quick.
yeah.
It's super
was like,
fast. It's like, how is he in this position?
Yeah, it's like he changed a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's all explained pretty quickly, as Steve and I said this morning. Like, all right, there we go. I get that. Makes sense. Now we're, but yeah, it's really looking forward to the rest of the season. 3 episodes, I was kind of disappointed because, like I said, I wasn't really paying attention, wasn't sure what was dropping, and I don't know, my mind isn't right, and I'm like, oh, I'm just keep on going, and then at the end of 3, I was like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
They just give us
them
the
all
first
at once
3
before. Didn't they drop them all at once?
I don't know.
The other two.
I think they've always done this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
I must have just watched it all in one.
Like, not that they'll ever change their release strategy, but I get it with season 1 of a show. Drop multiple episodes, get you hooked, and then you go weekly after that. By season 3, it's like you're already on board. It's like, give me 1 at a time or give me all 8. But don't give me 3 or 4 and then make me go week to week.
Right.
I know why they do it for first seasons of shows, because generally the arc doesn't start to reveal itself till 2 or 3 episodes. But by season 2 and season 3, it's like, just give me 1 at a time. I don't need 3 of them.
Yeah. It's
or give me all of them, like you said.
Right.
Do one or the other, but don't give me, like, what did I watch recently? Oh, Jackal. A few months ago. It was like 10 episodes, but they gave you 5 episodes right off the jump. So you think you're getting the whole thing, and then I get to the end of episode 5 and there was nothing left. I was like, oh crap, where's the rest of this? It's like, is it over? Like, that doesn't seem like the end of the story. And then I had to wait week to week. It's like, why do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's to the benefit of these streaming services to keep you on the hook longer, not short.
Right. Yeah.
Well, at least you get beyond your week's free trial.
Exactly. Like, if it's 8 episodes, you got me for 2 months. Don't,
why are you shortening that? Right.
Why are you shortening it? Like, I don't know what they did. Amazon, they did that animated one, the D&D one. I can't, Vox Machina or whatever. It's 12 episodes, but they give you 3 a week for 4 weeks in a row.
Right.
Like, well, you could have me for 3 months paying for your service instead of 1 month. Why are you doing that? So.
There must be an algorithm somewhere, isn't there? Someone somewhere
study that they see, like, people wait until 3 episodes and then they'll be like, okay, I heard it's pretty good, so I'll start here. So they really don't get that, and then they drop out because everything's no penalties to drop and pick up.
No, or you just wait till
the
all
end.
8 of them have come out, and then you sign up for a week's trial and get them all that way. But I don't know. It always seems like it's to their benefit to keep you on the hook longer, not shorter. And they're always in such a rush to get 8 or 10 episodes done in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It is odd. I mean, I would like them all at once. So I want to blast through this. It's kind of, I just want to keep going with it. Right. I got to the end of 3 and I'm like, oh, come on. Let's just keep going. Just if you're going to give me 3, give me it all. Absolutely. But no, it's good. I am enjoying it. We said last night, I like that it's more jokey, I think, this one than the other 2. There are jokes in it. There is humor in it. There are sight gags. In a Reacher thing. And I'm referring to the T-shirt we talked about last night. I won't spoil what's on there, but the T-shirt she gives him, and they deliberately show him from the neck up until they do a mid shot, and then you realize what shirt she's given him. Right. And it's genuinely funny. It's like, oh, okay, right, I like that. That's a fun way of doing it, and that's kind of undercutting Reacher as a character. And I think it's good. I do need some of the jokes explained to me, as we discovered as well. And accent issues aside, it is enjoyable, and I think it's going places. It looks like it's going to resolve itself, really well. I'm enjoying it. I think it's good, and it's certainly not showing signs of losing steam. We're not kind of running out of interest in the character. He's still. I think we all were a bit jarred by the opening. And I think everyone, but then that's the point, though, isn't it? I think it's deliberate to make you think about what's going on here. This is weird.
Yeah.
And then it's I'm in. Oh, okay, fine, right. That all makes sense. I quite like that little switcheroo. That's quite a fun little thing to do. You're literally playing with your audience, knowing that everyone is doing what we were doing, which is, this is all a bit quick and a bit weird, and that's not Reacher. Right. What the hell? Right. And then, what happens. So, yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And funny enough, did you say about, I didn't have a chance to tell you last night, or this morning even, although it was this morning over here when we finished. Yeah. So it was literally this morning. I watched the second episode and most of the third one on the glasses. I was in the car, I was not driving. I was waiting. I had some time, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And I put the seat back, and I anchored the screen to the top of the car. Right, so 147-inch screen anchored to the thing. I was able to just sit back and just kind of experience it there. And the Bose audio, so with the spatial audio, it's absolutely fine. Really fun experience. And you've seen this giant screen, and it was great. It really resolves well on this sort of big screen.
Just what I want to see is Alan Richardson at 147-inch screen.
Looking right down on you as you're led down.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Okay. But I do like the idea of laying back, putting the screen up on the ceiling, and maybe not Alan Richardson. I don't know where I'm going.
Underworld
John does.
Again. Yeah. We back to Underworld again, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate.
You do you, Steve.
I think it's you, mate.
You doing me?
I'm the one who said I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it was cool, man. And again, another really cool thing of these things. So I was able to watch it like that and actually had a really good experience, seeing it that way. So yeah, it doesn't need to be seen in the theater. If you've got a way, you can watch this kind of anywhere. And I think they know that a lot of people do. So
yeah,
it's
I'd happily watch this in the bed, on the TV in the bedroom or something, and not feel like I was missing anything.
Yeah. But very cool.
That's really, what I ended up doing. That's what I ended up having to do. So it was, it wasn't the overwhelming because of sound. It literally was because of the picture. Like I said, it's just too bright. And I'm like, oh, there we go. I'm out. So moved up to the upstairs. But again, it's like I've been through the seasons, and it's not. And even when I was experiencing down there before at Reference, it wasn't exactly like you didn't feel like you were missing something. Where there are other series where even Jack Ryan, I would say, would be a better one. That's an Amazon comparable.
Which that had great audio.
Yeah. And John and I are going to say it had great audio because we worked really hard to get that Atmos.
That was a pain. That season one was
years. Not even joking. Years of trial and error in different.
I don't even know what the problems were that we were having with that.
No. So, but yes, that had good audio. And that's one of those, I didn't watch the series until I could get the Atmos right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I hadn't even seen it yet. I just wanted to make sure I got it. And this one, haven't obviously seen it before. I was like, I'm not missing anything. I'm going upstairs. But Steve, what was the homework I gave you this morning? You had a question to ask me. I was going to segue into that. I forgot.
Somebody asked it in the chat a while back too, but
what was
now
it?
I'd have to scroll.
What are you looking forward to? Wasn't it something? Is that
something like
that. What series am I looking forward to? And watching. I'm probably going to be watching it upstairs, but a series that I can't wait to. I'll watch the entire series if I have to upstairs. I can't wait to get down to the theater, and I will happily rewatch the series. John's got to know what it is. Dropping soon.
Not the
dropping
Penguin?
Next week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Daredevil.
Daredevil
drops next week. Yeah.
March 4th, isn't it?
Yeah. And
and we got 2 episodes, I think.
Is it? 2 episodes, day one, early morning, redoing my get up early, watch that. Because that originally
how many episodes in the series?
I thought it was a lot. Like, isn't it like 15 or something?
Are they going back to that? Well, that's their roots. Remember, they started with 15.
A lot. Let me look and see. But I think it's quite a bit.
Daredevil Born Again, 2025. They're counting it as a whole new series.
18
seasons.
episodes, guys.
18, right?
Well, 18. It's probably listing. Maybe they probably have season 1 listed,
No,
and then they
it's a
probably have
lot.
the first couple for season 2.
it's
18.
nine each.
It's 9.
Oh,
9 each.
Season 1,
Yeah.
episode 9, and then they have season 2.
Oh,
But-
see, I thought it was all
Yeah.
one season. They originally it was supposed to be a like 15 or 18 episodes for one season.
Yeah, that's what it was originally, and they dropped all at once on Netflix, and that was going back, way back to Brightside Chat days.
Change that, yeah.
John and I would debate that. He wanted everything dropped all at once, and I was like, no, I want them to, because everybody was just dropping them all at once. And then who was it? Somebody first started drop. Maybe it was HBO or something, and how they did whatchamacallit, Game of Thrones was once a week, but they weren't a streaming service then. They were still just a cable network. But yeah, John and I used to we argued about it all the time. And John was like, I want them all at once. And I was like, I actually took and I did Daredevil season 1 a day, but they were all there. I'd watch one and then go to work. Right. And it was like, that's how
I kind of go back and forth on that too.
Now,
Sometimes it seems to depend on the show.
Yeah.
Like some shows, I just want to get all of it and get through it. And other ones, I'm okay. I don't mind waiting a week in between episodes. But
yeah.
It certainly looks like it's going to be a prime show. And bearing in mind that they reshot it. I mean, they started filming it, and they got 5 episodes in the can.
Oh, really?
And then they were like, let's do this again. We're going back to square one. And they then went right back and shot it all again. I mean, I wonder where all that footage is. But anyway, not that we'll ever get to see
I hope
that.
it had I loved Daredevil, and he was super serious. But, in She-Hulk, he wasn't super serious. So I'm not quite sure what I want out of this show.
He wasn't?
You know what I mean?
But also not in Spider-Man either. No, No Way Home or Far From Home, whatever it is.
I
He's
want
in that as well.
him to be a little bit more light, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that in this.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he's going to be.
I think this is hard R. This is as she would say in Reacher season 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a full on thing. Yeah, I think so. Which is great. I don't mind that. I look forward to that. After you've seen the hallway fight in season 1, you don't want him to now go back to kind of softly. Right. You want it to be more the raid.
Well, and I don't want him to. Yeah, I don't want it to be like watered down Daredevil, but I'm hoping that his personality is a little bit, I don't know, looser than
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what tone they go for. I mean, the trailers are all ultra serious, aren't they? This is all.
I haven't watched any of them. I've kind of stayed away from the trailers.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a conversation between Kingpin and him, and and again, it's like, why did you give up? And he's like, well, something happened. And you're like, I went, something, the devil was out or something like that. And it's all ultra, like the first, 2-3 seasons from Netflix. It's that tone rather than She-Hulk. They seem to be, and again, of course, the other thing is, Kingpin in Hawkeye was kind of lighter as well. He wasn't completely, horrible as he is in 1, 2, and 3 of Daredevil, or 1 and 2 anyway. I don't know about 3. I never saw 3. And so, but he's back to watch out in this, he's back to the no one messes with me or else. So I think that's the tone they're going for. We never know. They might try and switch it up. It might be that it's a misdirect a little bit. But that's not the impression you get from the trailers.
So are you saying you didn't see season 3 of Daredevil?
I don't think I did. I saw 1 and 2. In fact, I know I didn't. I saw 1 and 2, and then by the time I've got 1 and 2
season
Blu-ray
of the show.
Oh yeah,
man. Season 3 of Daredevil is one of the best seasons of any show I've ever seen.
Okay. It's on Disney Plus now, isn't it?
It's still there. It's definitely.
Oh yeah, they're all there.
I don't know if it'll back into I don't know if you need to see it for this show, but it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I think my problem with it was it had so we had 1 and 2, didn't we? Then we had the Punisher series,
Right.
and sorry, we had Jessica Jones, didn't we? The Defenders, and I didn't like either of those. I'm one of the people that didn't like Jessica Jones. Like Andor, everyone loves it. I just didn't. I thought David Tennant was not good in it, and so I never finished that, and I never finished.
I agree with Defenders.
Defenders same with Luke Cage
weak.
as well.
Yeah.
And so by the time we get Daredevil season 3, I'm done with them. I never even finished the Punisher series. I love the Punisher as a character.
That was good.
Yeah. Too. So by the time Daredevil season 3 came around, I was done with the Netflix Marvel shows. I'm like, there's too much filler. It feels like homework. I feel like I'm having to watch it, not because I want to. Whereas Daredevil season 1 and 2 was great. They were enjoyable. I liked those. But as I said, by the time 3 came around, I was done with all the others. And yeah, well, okay. Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll give it a go. Yeah, I'll give it a watch. In between Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
there you go. Wow, talk about 2 ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, light and dark. Yeah,
yeah. No, I mean, this is one though that it does set itself up for huge disappointment though as well.
It does,
because it's been so long. The series was so good, and like John said, like how many series build to season 3 being the best season, in this kind of series, right? Where it's, season 1 was, I consider it like revolutionary for comic book. Like we didn't have that before this. And then it was like, oh my God, look at what they're doing. And I remember that was 2015, if I remember right. And I remember thinking even back then, like people are watching this on their laptops. This needs to be seen in the theater. And this was like it's one of my favorite scenes is that scene around the taxi cab in season 1. I think it's like episode 5 or something like that. And it's like, it goes right around your room. And I remember seeing that. And I've used that so many times on this show that it's like, people are watching this on their laptops. It's like, and it has a 5:1 mix. And you're like, it's just awesome. By season 3, it was in Atmos. But just and it was integrated into the MCU. They used the backdrop, and that was big back then.
Well, and it always kind of was. They just because they always would refer to the event.
Exactly.
It was always there, but
they had the newspaper clippings on what's his name, Ben's wall, right?
Did a lot to integrate. Yeah, this show does have the potential. Like this is a tricky for Disney, right? Because it's almost like if they go too hard into the Netflix version, there could be a lot of pushback and criticism. But also if they're too far away from it, there's also a deal, because doing the same actors and the same cast, it's a risk because, Daredevil was kind of loved from Netflix.
It was like,
if they screw it up, this is going to be a lot of pushback. So I don't know. Hopefully,
I think people are on edge. I think everybody wants to love it, but at the same time, it's been so long, and there's a chance of people just being like,
because where did we see him? Was it Echo? Was it Echo the show where we had Daredevil as well, right?
Yep, he was in Echo. He was in,
and he wasn't super. He was pretty serious in that show.
Was it Far From Home? The last one. Was that the last one? He was in that.
Yeah, but just as Matt, right? Like you didn't get.
Yeah, you didn't get Daredevil.
No,
well, we had Daredevil full on in Echo and
She-Hulk.
And She-Hulk.
Yeah, so
he's been around.
I mean, remember in Far From Home and the trailers and everything, and we're just all speculating. That's him. That's Matt. That's like the arm on the table and the sleeve rolled up, and of course they do the shell game or okey doke. Like you're like, oh no, when you see the movie, it wasn't him, and you're like, oh, it wasn't him, and then bam, there he is. He shows up at the kitchen table. They did that on purpose. There's no doubt about it. They're like, we're not going to show you who it is. And I mean, I remember getting screen grabs and other people looking at it. You're trying to look at the reflection in the, interrogation room window and be like, is that Matt Murdock? It's because we just wanted him back so bad. Charlie Cox is so good. It's like, he's literally like really his, like, like Robert Downey Jr. to Tony Stark. He's, Charlie Cox just
Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. He just owned Daredevil.
Yeah,
well, then Jordan's saying Echo featured Kingpin, not Daredevil. Am I wrong? Did Daredevil and Echo not fight in Echo? Or
I
am I
didn't see
thinking of
I didn't
something
see Echo,
completely
sure.
different?
I
thought they actually had a fight scene in that show, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a comic book or something.
Yeah, I thought
Now
so
I have
too.
to look and see, but I really thought he was in that show.
Who did he fight? I could have sworn that wasn't in She-Hulk, was it? When he fought in like that warehouse type situation?
Maybe, I don't know.
You know the one I'm talking
Paul
about?
Hurt saying he was in it. Daredevil was in Echo. Paul Hurt saying.
Yeah.
He was, right?
Yeah.
I was just saying they had a
haven't
fight
seen it,
scene, because it's the deaf character and the blind character, and one
Right.
can't.
Yeah, you just get Helen Keller walk through and we're golden.
Okay, I was thinking I watched a completely different show, but I thought he was.
Yeah. No, I remember the fight scene, and it's like, and I felt like that fight scene was to demonstrate Echo's strength.
They were both. Yeah, he said, "My bad." So okay, so they were. Yeah, you're okay as you were.
Yeah, because we all know what a good fighter Daredevil is,
right?
And how strong and resilient and everything like that. And then for us to see, Echo standing up and going toe to toe with him, you're like, oh, okay. Right. Well, it was a great way to display her skills quickly in a show, and also give us all like, oh boy, and then the rest like never showed up again.
Yeah, I was to say it wasn't a lot, but
no.
All right, guys, just looking at the time, folks.
Oh yeah,
this is me 3 days in a row on the show.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. 3 days in a row. Is it just? Yeah, it's just 3.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now it's 9 minutes past midnight on a Thursday morning.
There you go. Look at that.
It's like another 25-hour episode.
Yeah, well, this is 36 if we're going 3 days in a row.
Yeah. Well, Steve didn't talk. We didn't talk straight through.
We
took a few hours off. But
all right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate all the time. John, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm.
John, I gotta talk to your agent. I gotta get you on a Takeover Tuesday.
Yeah.
You've never been on a Takeover Tuesday, buddy.
Have your people speak to his people.
Yeah,
exactly. That's so funny. I'm like, I swear it was, but yeah, you're right. We did Star Wars events. We did other things.
Yeah, like I said, I've done other shows, but I just don't
a couple
think
here and there.
Done a specific Takeover Tuesday episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we featured your theater at one time.
I'm an open book. I don't feel like there's anything that people need to know more about me. So
do a Takeover Tuesday Deej with the pigeons.
Yeah. Like, I'm out here on my deck. Oh boy. All right. Let's get Steve to bed. Everybody, thank you. Thanks to all my Patreon supporters. There is an after show. I sent out the link earlier on Patreon. Literally not much more than an hour ago while we were doing the show. I kept forgetting to do. I almost forgot to put the show out. That's what I was going to do last night, and I kind of got taken away. So yes, thank you everybody for understanding and support, all the support in the chat. Thank you. All the support all along. Really appreciate it. We will be back. I don't know what we're doing for our Takeover Tuesday next week. Maybe it's John. I don't know.
We'll see.
The look on his face.
Cost you a 4K copy of Heretic.
Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. He has high standards.
That's right. I could ask for, Lawrence of Arabia. So
you already own it. Yeah. But you want to sell it. I get it. I know your game.
And then by Heretic.
And then by Heretic.
So any of the patrons want to join me over on the chat, I'll be there for a little bit. But all that good stuff. Thank you, everybody. $1 a month. If everybody gave it, we could all retire. Thank you very much. Have a great week. You know what you got to do.
Go push play.
What he said.
That's right. Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.